Adversity. Life can be a series of ups and downs. Would you agree? We all experience some bumps in the road and periods of joy and elation on our journey throughout life. Sometimes we can all get a bit anxious and tense when things are going too well for us. We fret and wonder if the walls on the dam may burst at any minute and think that something is about to go wrong, right? We have all heard that bad things come in threes, especially deaths. When something awful happens, we ask ourselves in a worried state, is there more bad news to come? Adversity in the human life cycle cannot be avoided. And yes, a new adversity is coming our way soon. It is just part of the cycle of life. A large majority of people experience more bad times than good. Some people that we know seem to attract bad luck and have had such a bad run lately that we can't help but feel empathy for them. Sometimes we feel guilty thinking that our life appears to be going rather well compared to theirs. Do you agree? Some folks not living the right way and making poor judgment calls in life bring most of this doom, misfortune, and bad luck on themselves by the toxic environment they refuse to break loose from. Their inner circle that they keep and their associations trap them in a vortex, making escape from bad luck next to impossible. Eventually, adversity pays all of us a visit, including honest, righteous friends living life with good character and integrity. These folks are also not immune from the twists and turns of life either. All people can find themselves so beaten down by the hard and trying times that they struggle to get up again, finding it difficult to rediscover the zest in life to enjoy the better times, often fighting deep depression. A wave of relentless, crushing mental setbacks can affect anyone's attitude and outlook on life, and we all know that a poor attitude can limit the possibility of something good happening to us. Often, we are so blinded by the dark pit that we find ourselves living in that we can't see the forest for the trees. Meaning, our attitude pulls us further down into our depressed mental state, and we fail to recognize an opportunity or a person that could help us climb out of our sinking hole. Our level of thinking in between our ears determines the impact that a rough time will have on our mental state and well-being. Our first emphasis bar states, adversity will visit us all in some form or another. This chapter is not about attitude. It is about adversity and how we control our thoughts during times of adversity. Let's try an exercise to reinforce my message and lighten the mood, shall we? Imagine a straight line going across this page, representing periods of time where your life cycle is in a period of calmness and status quo. Now picture yourself placing a small dot above the line for each event that happens in your life where you enjoyed euphoria and extreme happiness. Some dots will be further away from your straight line, dictating the level of joy that you subjectively attach to the event. After this exercise, there should be a series of dots sporadically placed above the straight line, beginning at childhood and ending at present day. If you're having trouble remembering some of these events representing these happy dots, here are a few suggestions. Graduating from high school, winning an award, getting engaged, getting a divorce, enjoying a great vacation, the birth of a child, attending your favorite band's concert, losing some weight, getting a new car or new house, starting a new job, getting a promotion at work, winning the lottery, getting the role in the play, and so on. Now it is time to put the challenging time dots underneath the straight line. Not that we all want to relive these painful memories, but go ahead. Pencil them in. Get out a piece of blank paper and try this to get my point. Now, go ahead and join the dots at the top and the bottom as they appear in sequential order. After you are finished, you will hopefully see more good times than bad, and the wavy line should look something like this next graphic. In the book here, you'll see kind of a wavy line here. Does this look like a wavelength to you? Let me ask you this. What does a pulsating heartbeat monitor in a hospital room look like when a patient is breathing and very much alive? Just like the above picture, right? This means, folks, that during times of despair, that we are still alive, very much alive. When a patient's heart stops beating, what does the wavelength look like on the monitor? A flat line, right? The patient that flatlines has ceased to be and is void of life. Our lives are rarely blah, boring, and flat. They are mostly a series of highs and lows. If we find ourselves in the valleys of despair, it is hard to imagine at the time that we are ever going to climb out of it. But we will, and we can. Your own personal wavelength chart should have revealed that to you. Now, there's a picture of Ed in the book here, and he's got a cartoon bubble, and he's saying, "Thank goodness this gloomy chapter is getting a bit more optimistic." Right on, Ed. I also have an emphasis bar, and it says, "In every adversity, there is going to be an equal, if not better, silver lining to come along in our future." A wise man once said, "Behind every cloud is bright sunshine." Another way of looking at this uplifting statement is, if you get high enough, you'll find the sunshine. High on life, that is. Have you ever taken off in an airplane on a gloomy, overcast day, and minutes later, after the aircraft breaks through the thick cloud cover, being confronted with brilliant sunshine shining through your window seat, surrounded by an endless bright blue sky? I guess it was a sunny day after all. Metaphorically speaking, we were just too low, too far down before to see the sunlight from our previous viewpoint and perspective. The key to recovery is for us all to practice a great deal of patience while keeping our spirits up and our hope alive, waiting for the tide to turn. Often the very thing that comes our way, shaping our lives positively, would have never taken place without us experiencing a previous adversity related to the new cheerful event. Example, someone gets divorced or breaks up with the love of their life. They're very down and depressed about the heartbreaking situation. Months later, they meet someone else and start dating. This new person takes them to a new level of joy and happiness that they never knew existed. The person in our example was only open to a new relationship because their previous relationship had fallen apart. Or let's say that we lose our job through no fault of our own and we fall on hard financial times. Months later, after searching for a new career path, we have the option of saying yes to a more lucrative opportunity because we were not tied down to our old job. As a result of our previous setback, our life spins off in a positive new direction. An emphasis bar outlines, opportunity always follows adversity. Carrying buckets of patience and hope are the key components to the feeling of optimism. Assuming you participated in our drawing dots and line exercise, I am sure that a few of your dots below the line in your wavelength curve represented the deaths of friends or loved ones. Adversity is inevitable, and so is dealing with the impact of a death in our lives. When someone we love leaves this earth, the pain and the hurt that we feel is real. Their passing leaves a hollow emptiness in our hearts in their wake. In my soon-to-be middle-aged man's opinion, I found we must grieve with respect and keep our loved ones' memories alive, but we must not stop living ourselves. We will all leave this earth too. It is also inevitable. As we grace the earth with our presence, we must be mentally present for the people surrounding us that need us now. We must cruise through life showing kindness and support towards others and leave a legacy behind us when it is time for ourselves to move on. I say, live while you are here. Don't flatline while you are alive. Squeeze all the juice out of life. Breeze over the bad times and milk the great times for all they are worth. Now, the emphasis bar states, live your life to the fullest each and every day. Let's discuss how we can keep our minds in the correct space in order to deal with life's downturns. The late, great Zig Ziglar was a well-known positive thinker and public speaker in the sales leadership world. He used to pose a question to his audiences, creating a hypothetical scenario as if they were owners of an elite thoroughbred racehorse. He asked them if they would ever feed their champion thoroughbred racehorse potato chips, pizza, and junk food for years at a time and expect their horse to be healthy and ready for the all-important race. Silly question, right? Of course the audience members would not. No one would agree that they should do that. Zig Ziglar posed a follow-up question to his paying guests by asking them, then why are they feeding their own champion thoroughbred body with unhealthy foods, alcohol, and drugs, and filling their billion-dollar mind with negative, disempowering thoughts? He emphatically emphasized that our fragile minds need nourishment too, in the form of good thoughts laced with a side dish of hope and positivity. I may have paraphrased most of this segment, but Mr. Ziegler was correct, and his teachings can help us put ourselves in the correct mind space to overcome life's hurdles. We must manage our mental state and fill our bodies with good nutrients in order to be ready to overcome life's hurdles. We can't control some of the things that happen to us, but we can control our thoughts towards what has happened to us. How we react to a crisis can determine the level of anguish that we attach to it and how long our feeling of despair lasts. Think about it. How can we possibly overcome those cruel obstacles of adversity if we are not putting positive information into our brain daily? We are inundated by negativity and violence all around us, such as in the content of newer video games that we love to play, by the garbage we read daily cast ubiquitously across the internet, by listening to the daily depressing news topics, and with having to deal with difficult negative people at work and around us. What we are doing to ourselves daily is equivalent to feeding a racehorse deep dish greasy pepperoni pizza before the start of the Kentucky Derby race and expecting a winning result. There is too much negativity and disempowering information that seeps into our brains and not enough positive information going in our brains to balance everything out. Emphasis bar states, we must read and listen to positive, motivating, spiritual, and value-added material in order to have our brains trained and ready for life's adversities. By consuming foods that are good for our body, we will feel better. And by observing healthy information from all sources, we will create a positive aura around us, therefore attracting good things happening to us like a magnet. The more positive a person that we become, the more good things will come our way. And the more things that happen in our lives will fall above the status quo line rather than below it. The more positive, exciting things that are happening in our lives will help us have an even more positive outlook on life. A positive snowball will be created in the desired direction, and the good news is that we do have complete control over making this outcome happen. Adversity visits everyone. No one is immune. Help yourself deal with life's low blows in an empowering way by looking on the bright side of things. See the glass as half full, not half empty. And help others get through their rough times. Our average stay on this earth is about 75 years. I feel that it is our duty as human beings to pay back our Maker for the gift of life. Unsubstantiated advice from a middle-aged man about adversity. In times of adversity, remind yourself that you are alive, very much alive, and remain hopeful for a better day around the corner. Make the good times last as long as you can, and don't spend too much time in the valleys of despair. Am I right about this? Or am I just half right? This concludes the adversity chapter in Unsubstantiated Advice about life from a middle-aged man. Thank you for listening. Please search on YouTube for the next chapter, Beliefs, which is a little bit more humorous and a little bit edgy. I hope you enjoy it.